The quantum detection array at Europa Deep Space Observatory had been silent for months. Dr. Maya Chen sat at her station, analyzing the usual background radiation patterns when an alert flashed across her screen. The signal was unlike anything she'd ever seen, a perfectly ordered sequence of pulses that couldn't possibly be natural. "Director Hamilton," she called out, her voice steady despite her racing heart. "I think you need to see this." The observatory's director, Dr. James Hamilton, walked over from his office, coffee mug in hand. His expression shifted from mild curiosity to intense focus as he studied the readings. The signal pattern repeated every 127 seconds, too precise to be random, too complex to be interference. "How long has it been transmitting?" he asked, setting down his mug. "The system first detected it 3 hours ago, but based on the signal degradation, it's been traveling for—" Maya paused, double-checking her calculations, approximately 12,000 years. The implications hung heavy in the air. Humanity had been searching for signs of intelligent life since the early days of radio astronomy. Now, on a routine Tuesday morning in 2157, they might have finally found it. Within hours, every major space agency and research institution on Earth was analyzing the data. The signal originated from a region of space near the Carina Nebula, roughly 7,000 light-years from Earth. What made it extraordinary wasn't just its artificial nature, but its method of transmission. It used quantum entanglement principles that human scientists had only theorized about. Dr. Chen led the initial decryption efforts. Working with a team of linguists and mathematicians, she discovered that the signal contained more than just pulses. It carried data, complex strings of information that, when properly decoded, began to form three-dimensional models. "It's a star map," she announced during an emergency meeting of the International Space Council. But more than that, it's an invitation. The models showed a detailed path through space, marking specific gravitational wells and dangerous radiation zones. It led to a location just outside the solar system, hidden in the Oort cloud. Whatever sent this signal wanted to be found, and they'd left breadcrumbs right to their doorstep. The ISC voted unanimously to launch an expedition. They selected the newly commissioned deep space vessel Horizon for the mission. The ship represented the pinnacle of human achievement, equipped with antimatter engines, quantum communications, and the most advanced AI systems ever developed. Captain Sarah Rodriguez was chosen to lead the mission. At 42, she had more deep space experience than any other commander in the fleet. Her reputation for quick thinking and level-headed decision-making made her the perfect choice for humanity's first potential first-contact situation. "This isn't just about finding aliens," she told her crew during their first briefing. "This is about understanding our place in the universe. Whatever we find out there could change everything we know about ourselves." The crew was carefully selected. Dr. Maya Chen as chief scientist, Lieutenant Commander David Park as tactical officer, Dr. Yuki Tanaka as xenobiologist, and engineer Maria Santos to handle the ship's complex systems. Each brought unique expertise that might be crucial for interpreting whatever they found. The Horizon launched from Luna Base on March 15, 2158, carrying the hopes and fears of humanity with it. As they followed the ancient signal's path, they discovered that the quantum transmission had another purpose. It was activating dormant beacons along their route, creating a network of navigational markers. 3 months into their journey, they reached the coordinates in the Oort cloud. What they found defied explanation. A massive structure, clearly artificial, yet seemingly built into a comet. Its surface was covered in the same mathematical patterns they'd detected in the original signal. "It's a vault," Maya realized as they approached. "They left something here for us to find." The structure's surface began to react to their presence, patterns of light racing across its crystalline surface. A message appeared, transmitted directly to their ship's computers in the same quantum language as the original signal. But this time, they were ready to understand it. "Greetings, children of Earth," the message began. "We are the Zephyrians. If you are reading this, then you have advanced enough to detect our call. What we have left here is our legacy, our knowledge, and our warning. The galaxy holds wonders beyond imagination, but also dangers you must be prepared to face. We chose you as our inheritors. The question now is, are you ready to accept this responsibility? Captain Rodriguez looked at her crew, seeing the same mix of excitement and apprehension on their faces that she felt herself. Humanity had just taken its first step into a much larger universe, and there would be no turning back. "Send our response," she ordered. "Tell them we accept." The Horizon's crew spent 3 days studying the massive structure before attempting to dock. The vault's crystalline surface pulsed with an inner light that seemed to respond to their presence, creating intricate patterns that Dr. Chen believed were some form of communication protocol. Engineer Santos worked tirelessly to interface their systems with the alien technology. "The structure's not just a storage facility," she reported during a crew briefing. "It's alive, in a way. The entire system is powered by quantum-scale reactions that mimic organic processes. We're not just looking at advanced technology. We're looking at a completely different understanding of what technology can be." Captain Rodriguez authorized the first boarding mission. She led the team herself, along with Dr. Chen, Dr. Tanaka, and 2 security officers. As they approached in their shuttle, a section of the vault's surface shifted, revealing an entrance that perfectly matched their craft's docking specifications. They knew exactly who would find them, Dr. Tanaka observed. The vault wasn't just waiting for any advanced civilization. It was specifically designed for humans. The interior of the structure defied conventional physics. Corridors seemed to extend indefinitely before curving back on themselves in impossible ways. Gravity shifted smoothly as they moved, always keeping them oriented to what felt like down without any visible mechanism. Dr. Chen's quantum scanner revealed that the entire structure existed partially out of phase with normal spacetime. "It's how they've preserved everything," she explained. "Time passes differently here. What's been thousands of years for us might have been only moments for anything stored inside." They discovered vast chambers filled with holographic archives, the complete history of the Zephyrian civilization. Dr. Tanaka was the first to access one of the interactive displays, her eyes widening as the information flooded her mind through some form of direct neural interface. "They were like us once," she shared, her voice filled with wonder. "They evolved, built civilizations, reached for the stars. But they took a different path than we did. Instead of conquering nature, they learned to merge with it. Their technology isn't about domination. It's about harmony." The deeper they ventured, the more they understood. The Zephyrians had achieved things that humans had only dreamed of: clean, unlimited energy, perfect environmental balance, the ability to travel vast distances through space without damaging the fabric of reality. But they had also faced challenges that nearly destroyed them. Captain Rodriguez found the central chamber, where a massive crystalline structure housed what appeared to be thousands of suspended animation pods. Inside each one, barely visible through the translucent surface, was a Zephyrian, tall, ethereal beings with iridescent skin and multiple sets of limbs that seemed to fade in and out of physical reality. "They're alive," Dr. Tanaka confirmed, checking her readings, "in some form of quantum stasis. But why? Why would an entire civilization choose to go into hibernation?" The answer came from a final message, activated when they reached the chamber center. A holographic figure appeared, a Zephyrian elder, its form shifting between physical and energy states as it spoke. "We chose sleep over extinction," the message explained. "Our civilization faced a threat we could not defeat, a species of beings that exist in the spaces between realities. They feed on consciousness itself, drawn to advanced civilizations that achieve quantum awareness. We could not fight them directly, so we hid ourselves away, waiting for allies who might approach the universe differently." The elder's form flickered. "We watched your species grow, saw how you faced challenges with innovation and determination. Where we sought harmony, You forged ahead with an indomitable will to survive. It is this difference that gives us hope. Together, our approaches might succeed where each alone would fail. The message ended with a choice. Help awaken the Zephyrians, combining their knowledge of universal harmony with humanity's drive and resilience, or leave them in their eternal sleep. The decision would not be easy. Awakening them would mean facing the threat that had driven them into hiding, but leaving them would mean losing perhaps the greatest opportunity for advancement in human history. Lieutenant Commander Park, who had been monitoring from the ship, broke the tense silence that followed. "Captain, we're detecting unusual quantum fluctuations in the space around the vault. Whatever drove the Zephyrians into hiding, I think it might know we're here." Captain Rodriguez looked at her crew, then at the sleeping forms of the Zephyrians. The weight of the decision pressed down on her like a physical force. Humanity had come looking for knowledge, but had found something far more significant. A civilization that needed their help, and might help humanity in return. "We didn't come all this way to turn back," she declared. Dr. Chen, begin studying the revival protocols. Dr. Tanaka, I want to know everything about their biology. Engineer Santos, prepare the ship's systems for possible quantum-level threats. We're not just going to wake them up, we're going to protect them. As the crew began their work, none of them noticed the subtle distortions in space around the vault, like ripples in reality itself. The threat the Zephyrians had fled was stirring, drawn by the activity of two species on the verge of changing the course of galactic history. News of the Zephyrian discovery reached Earth, sparking intense debate among world leaders and the scientific community. The Horizon's crew worked tirelessly to understand the revival protocols, but they weren't the only ones interested in the vault's secrets. Several private corporations and military organizations began preparing their own expeditions, despite the International Space Council's attempts to maintain control of the situation. Engineer Santos detected the first approaching ships 3 weeks after their discovery. 5 vessels, Captain. 3 corporate-owned research ships and 2 unregistered craft. They're running dark, trying to stay off our scanners. Captain Rodriguez had anticipated this response. Humanity's greatest discovery had become its most coveted secret. Lieutenant Commander Park, initiate Defense Protocol Alpha. Dr. Chen, how close are we to understanding the revival process? Maya Chen barely looked up from her workstation, where streams of quantum data flowed across multiple screens. We've decoded about 60% of the process. The Zephyrians didn't just preserve their bodies, they converted their entire consciousness into quantum states. Reviving them means reconstructing both their physical and mental forms simultaneously. The first confrontation came sooner than expected. One of the unregistered ships, a sleek military vessel, approached under the pretense of offering assistance. Captain Rodriguez recognized the tactics. She'd seen them before in her days patrolling the outer colonies. "They'll try to overwhelm us with a boarding party," she told her crew. "They want the Zephyrian technology intact, which gives us an advantage. They can't risk damaging the vault." But the attackers had their own plans. As the military vessel moved into position, it launched a targeted EMP burst designed to disable the Horizon's defensive systems. What they hadn't counted on was Engineer Santos's modifications to the ship's shields. "I integrated some of what we learned from the Zephyrian quantum tech," Maria explained as the EMP dissipated harmlessly against their barriers. "They're not just blocking energy, they're redirecting it through quantum channels." The attempted attack united the Horizon's crew with new purpose. Dr. Tanaka made a breakthrough in understanding the Zephyrians' biological structure, which proved crucial to the revival process. "Their bodies exist in multiple quantum states simultaneously," she explained. "That's how they achieve such perfect harmony with their technology. We're not just bringing them back to life, we're reassembling them across multiple dimensions." As more ships arrived in the area, Lieutenant Commander Park developed innovative tactics using the vault's quantum field to mask their presence. The Horizon seemed to fade in and out of normal space, making it impossible for hostile forces to lock onto them. But the greatest challenge came from within. Dr. Chen discovered that the quantum fluctuations around the vault were increasing. The beings that had driven the Zephyrians into hiding were drawing closer, attracted by the combined quantum signatures of human and Zephyrian technology. "We need to make a decision," Captain Rodriguez announced during an emergency crew meeting. "Either we begin the revival process now, before we fully understand it, or we risk losing everything to these interdimensional entities." The choice was made harder by a transmission from Earth. The International Space Council, under pressure from various political and corporate interests, had voted to suspend the Horizon's mission. They were ordered to stand down and wait for a multinational task force to take control of the situation. "They don't understand what we're dealing with," Dr. Chen argued. "By the time their task force arrives, it could be too late. The quantum disturbances are growing exponentially." Captain Rodriguez stood at the viewport, watching the subtle distortions in space around them. She had sworn an oath to follow orders, but she had also sworn to protect humanity's interests. Sometimes, she realized, those two obligations came into conflict. "We're not just protecting technology or knowledge," she said finally. "We're protecting a civilization that chose us, specifically us, as their inheritors. If we fail them now, we fail ourselves." The decision was unanimous. The Horizon's crew began the revival process, even as more ships appeared on their scanners, and the quantum disturbances grew stronger. Dr. Tanaka and Dr. Chen worked in perfect synchronization, translating the complex protocols into actionable steps. Engineer Santos rerouted power from every non-essential system to support the massive energy requirements of the revival process. Lieutenant Commander Park coordinated the ship's defenses, using their limited resources to maintain a protective perimeter around the vault. As the first revival pod began its activation sequence, the space around the vault twisted in impossible ways. The beings that had haunted the Zephyrians had arrived, their presence felt as a deep primordial dread in the minds of the crew. Captain Rodriguez watched as the pod's crystalline surface became transparent, revealing the Zephyrian within. They were about to change the course of two civilizations forever, and there would be no turning back. The only question was whether they could protect their ancient allies long enough for them to awaken into a universe that had changed dramatically since they had chosen to sleep. "All stations," she commanded, her voice steady despite the chaos around them. "Prepare for first contact. And may whatever gods exist in this universe help us all." The first Zephyrian emerged from stasis in a cascade of quantum energy. Its form shifted between states of matter, a being of both physical substance and pure energy. The crew of the Horizon watched in awe as it took its first conscious breath in 12,000 years. Dr. Tanaka's instruments went wild, recording data across multiple quantum frequencies. "The biological readings are off the charts," she reported. "They exist in a state of quantum superposition, simultaneously physical and energy-based. The Zephyrians' consciousness reached out to them, not through words but through direct neural connection. Images and emotions flooded their minds: gratitude, hope, and urgent warning. The being identified itself as Archive Keeper Seraph, one of the Zephyrians' chief scientists. "You have done well," Seraph communicated, its thoughts translating into words in their minds. "But we have little time. The Void Hunters have sensed our awakening." As if in response to Seraph's warning, the quantum distortions around the vault intensified. Through the viewport, the crew could see space itself beginning to tear, revealing glimpses of something that defied comprehension, shapes and movements that shouldn't be possible in normal reality. Engineer Santos worked frantically at her station, trying to maintain power to both the revival systems and the ship's defenses. "The quantum field is destabilizing," she called out. "Whatever's out there, it's trying to break through our barriers." The hostile ships surrounding them had also noticed the disturbance. Several began to retreat, their sensors undoubtedly overwhelmed by the quantum anomalies. Others moved closer, either not understanding the danger or too driven by greed to care. Seraph moved to the vault's central control system, its limbs passing through solid matter as it interfaced directly with the quantum technology. We must awaken the others quickly, it communicated. But we need your help. Your linear thinking, your ability to impose order on chaos. These are traits my people never fully developed. Captain Rodriguez didn't hesitate. Tell us what you need. Working together, humans and the awakened Zephyrian began a desperate race against time. Dr. Chen and Seraph combined their understanding of quantum mechanics, creating new revival protocols that worked faster than ever thought possible. Dr. Tanaka monitored the biological stability of each awakening Zephyrian, while Engineer Santos maintained the delicate balance of power systems. Lieutenant Commander Park coordinated with the friendly ships that remained, creating a defensive perimeter around the vault. The Void Hunters are drawn to conscious thought, Seraph explained, particularly the complex quantum consciousness of awakened beings. We must protect the revival process. As more Zephyrians awakened, they joined their consciousness into a vast quantum network. The sight was extraordinary. Dozens of ethereal beings, their forms shifting between states, working in perfect harmony. But with each awakening, the tiers in reality grew larger. Through these tiers, the crew caught glimpses of their true enemy. The Void Hunters were beings of anti-consciousness, entities that fed on thought itself. They existed in the spaces between realities, drawn to advanced civilizations like moths to flame. In our time, Seraph shared, we faced them with harmony and patience, trying to understand and coexist. But they cannot be reasoned with. They are entropy given consciousness, seeking to reduce all ordered thought to chaos. Captain Rodriguez watched as another tear in reality appeared, larger than the others. Then we don't try to understand them, she declared. We fight. The statement surprised Seraph, its form flickering with interest. Fighting chaos itself. That is, a very human approach. Exactly, Rodriguez replied. You tried harmony. We'll try something different. Dr. Chen's eyes widened as she realized what the captain was suggesting. The quantum shields Engineer Santos developed. They don't just block energy, they'd redirect it. What if we could redirect the Void Hunter's own chaos against them? The concept was radical, combining human tactical thinking with Zephyrian quantum technology. As the merged consciousness of the awakened Zephyrians considered the idea, another hostile ship exploded, torn apart by the growing quantum distortions. We must decide quickly, Seraph communicated. More of my people await awakening, but the Void Hunters grow stronger with each passing moment. What you suggest, it has never been attempted. Captain Rodriguez looked at her crew, seeing the determination in their eyes. They had come too far to back down now. Sometimes the best solutions are the ones nobody has tried before. That's the human way. We see impossible problems as challenges to overcome. The Zephyrians' collective consciousness rippled with something akin to hope. Perhaps this was why they had chosen humanity, not for their technology or their advancement, but for their unique way of approaching problems. As another tear in reality opened, larger than ever before, Captain Rodriguez gave the order that would either save or doom them all. All stations, prepared to implement the Rodriguez-Seraph protocol. Let's show these Void Hunters what happens when human determination meets Zephyrian harmony. The Rodriguez-Seraph protocol was unprecedented, a fusion of human tactical thinking and Zephyrian quantum manipulation. Engineer Santos and Dr. Chen worked with the awakened Zephyrians to modify the Horizon's quantum shields, while Lieutenant Commander Park coordinated with the remaining friendly ships to create a geometric pattern around the vault. The Void Hunters feed on ordered consciousness, Seraph explained as they worked. But they've never encountered human consciousness before. Your minds are different, more chaotic, yet purposeful than that chaos. Time was running out. The tiers in reality had grown so large that the very fabric of space around them was beginning to unravel. Through these gaps, the Void Hunters were becoming visible, writhing masses of anti-consciousness that defied description, their very presence causing pain in the minds of all who observed them. Dr. Tanaka monitored the crew's neural patterns as they integrated with the Zephyrian quantum network. Our brains are adapting, she reported with amazement. "We're not just working with their technology. We're evolving to understand it." Captain Rodriguez stood at the command center, watching as humans and Zephyrians moved in perfect synchronization. "Begin Phase 1, she ordered. The modified quantum shields activated, creating a complex web of energy around the vault. But instead of trying to block the Void Hunters, the shields created deliberate weak points, carefully calculated gaps that would draw the entities in specific directions. Phase 2, Rodriguez commanded as the first Void Hunter took the bait. The Zephyrians, their forms now pulsing with combined energy, channeled their consciousness through the quantum network. At the same time, the human crew focused their thoughts, not on harmony or understanding, but on resistance, on the will to survive and protect. The effect was immediate and spectacular. As the Void Hunters entered the trap, they encountered something they had never faced before: the ordered chaos of human consciousness, amplified and directed by Zephyrian quantum technology. The entities recoiled, their form distorting as they encountered thoughts they couldn't consume. Phase 3, Rodriguez called out, her voice steady despite the strain. Engineer Santos activated the final component of their plan. The quantum shields inverted, turning the Void Hunters' own entropy against them. The entities that had fed on consciousness for eons found themselves being broken down, their anti-consciousness scattered across multiple dimensions. The battle was intense. Several crew members collapsed from the mental strain, and even the Zephyrians flickered dangerously as they maintained the quantum network. But slowly, inevitably, the tide turned. One by one, the Void Hunters were dispersed, forced back into the spaces between realities, but this time with no way to maintain their cohesion. When it was over, the tears in space began to heal. The remaining hostile ships had fled, leaving the Horizon and its allies alone with the vault. Inside, hundreds of Zephyrians had awakened, their combined consciousness a beacon of hope in the vastness of space. Seraph approached Captain Rodriguez, its form now stable and glowing with renewed energy. "You have done what we thought impossible," it communicated. "You fought chaos itself, and won." Rodriguez looked at her crew, exhausted but proud. "We had help," she replied. "We just looked at the problem differently." In the days that followed, as the last of the Zephyrians were revived, both species began to understand just how much they could learn from each other. The Zephyrians shared their quantum technology, their understanding of universal harmony, and their accumulated wisdom of countless ages. In return, humans shared their innovation, their determination, and their unique way of approaching challenges. Dr. Chen and Seraph worked together to document their victory over the Void Hunters, creating a new field of quantum physics that combined human and Zephyrian principles. Dr. Tanaka's research into the human brain's adaptation to quantum consciousness opened up new possibilities for both species' evolution. The International Space Council, faced with the undeniable success of the Horizon's mission, established the first joint Human-Zephyrian Council. The vault became a center of learning where both species could grow together, each making up for the other's limitations. "We chose well," Seraph told Captain Rodriguez as they watched humans and Zephyrians working together in the vault's main chamber. "Your chaos and our harmony. Perhaps this is the balance the universe has been waiting for." Rodriguez smiled, thinking of how far they had come and how far they had yet to go. "That's the thing about humans," she replied. "We never stop pushing boundaries. And now, with your help, those boundaries are infinite." Above them, through the vault's crystalline walls, the stars shone brighter than ever, promising new adventures, new challenges, and new opportunities for two civilizations that had found strength in their differences. The Void Hunters were gone, but they had left behind something unexpected: a bridge between two species that would change the course of the galaxy forever. As Engineer Santos activated the vault's new quantum beacon, broadcasting their victory to the cosmos, Captain Rodriguez realized that this wasn't just about saving one civilization or protecting another. It was about proving that in the vast, often hostile universe, The greatest power came not from technology or consciousness alone, but from the willingness to adapt, to change, and to work together. The future that awaited them would be neither purely human nor purely Zephyrian. It would be something entirely new, born from the best of both worlds. And that future was just beginning.